Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. At least it's good morning here on the West Coast, almost afternoon. And we are just less than 24 hours away. Probably a little more than 24 hours because Candace usually hops on around 2:30. We are a little over 24 hours away from the expose, the investigative series on Erika Kirk. And today I wanted to discuss a little bit, three things. I wanted to discuss how the conservative movement, the Republican movement, is responding to this trailer. I have some clips from X. I have some response videos done by Ben Shapiro and Dan Bongino. Um, I wanted to talk about the Andrew Colvett interview that Baron Coleman recently posted on his platform. And I wanted to talk about Erika Kirk and her working right after Charlie's death, because Baron Coleman also let us know that he was able to go and look into the coding of the website, of her Proclaim website. We were able to find out that she was scheduling things right after Charlie's death, which was strange. And I'll tell you why I found that strange once we get to that part. But first, let's talk about what happened after Candace posted the Bride of Charlie trailer. I posted that on my channel yesterday, and we just did like a little quick chat about it. Of course, people hate Candace right now, but oh well. So Candace posted this on X. She said, Zionists are putting in real work hours promoting our upcoming series. I would like to extend them all my deepest gratitude. We are a small team and couldn't do it without your steadfast commitment to hysterics, and see you all tomorrow. So I woke up this morning and I got on X, and the reason why I'm on X is because I had this realization. Most people are not on Instagram. Most people are not on YouTube, believe it or not. And most people are not on TikTok. Apparently, people view X as sort of a news site. They don't really view it as social media. And so a lot of the reactions, a lot of the things that people are saying, they won't put it on Instagram, because I follow a lot of these people on Instagram. They'll put it on X. That's sort of where the masses can be reached. They understand that the algorithm in Instagram is it's bad. Like, you basically only see sponsored posts. So now I've had to go on X and see what people are saying. So we're going to listen to a few responses from Ben Shapiro, Don Bongino, and then Rob Smith, who I was so delighted to hear this from, because I've long wanted him to recognize the shill that the Republican Party had been running on him. So let's first listen to Caterpillar Man Ben Shapiro, and then we will get going. Welcome, Honeybee's House. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's listen. Ben Shapiro just the reason why this is so funny, you guys, is because when I'm going to play it too. Baron Coleman on his podcast, he shared the interview where Andrew Colvett basically said Charlie didn't want to do an interview with Ben, but he did an interview with Ben the day before he died. And it's just again, where Charlie Kirk was basically Israel is committing, genocide. And Ben Shapiro's got his furrowed eyebrows and his, angered look on his face. And it's here you are pretending like you just love this grieving widow. I cannot. All right. So Ben Shapiro responded to Candace Owens.
Candace Owens, as you may have heard me refer at the top of the show, is an evil, twisted human being. Now, the reason I say that today is because Candace has spent the last several months attacking the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk. It took her just a few days after Charlie's sick murder in order to start casting aspersions at Turning Point USA, people who work there all the way up to the highest levels, up to and including Erika Kirk. She was doing that very, very quickly, and she's been doing it for months. Truly for months. Yesterday, she came out with something that she had announced she was doing, which is a series. This is a trailer for a series, a teaser trailer that is titled Bride of Charlie, which is supposedly now an expose on the evil, nefarious, predatory nature of Erika Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, who again was shot in the neck, not by some sort of vast conspiracy involving French intelligence and Egyptian airplanes, but by a trans-loving gay man who is a furry. That is the actual story. And because Candace Owens is either going through the throes of mental illness or because she is a sick human being, or both. She has decided that she is going to turn her fire on the widow. Don't believe me? I know. Listen, there are a lot of people who listen to Candace. She has a huge audience. This is what she does. This is who she is. She is a conspiratorial, evil person, because that's who would do something like this. A conspiratorial, evil person. Now, the only reason that I'm playing this trailer is so you understand the extent of the evil that Candace Owens is perpetrating here. Because obviously I do not wish to promote her propagandistic horror that she is now pushing on a grieving widow with small children.
So this is the first part. I'm not going to play the trailer again. I'm going to play you the second part, but I want you to notice she's evil, grieving widow. Every single person that I show you guys today is going to use the term widow. Ben for sure has never won a fight in his life. He is for sure in the Epstein files. And I'm 326% sure that he is closeted. Yeah, Ben jumped on this bandwagon because he saw an opportunity for the Daily Wire to make money. That's 100% why he is doing this. He did not like Charlie Kirk. He did not like his take on Israel. He did not like his take on Palestine. So to watch him do this is kind of like watching a backwards house, because you're like, what is going on? You did not like this man. And now all of a sudden you have biblical values. My greatest, like, the thing that pains my soul and irks me the most is when people who don't believe the Bible quote the Bible. Take a listen.
Owens has been spending her days doing, and millions of people, of course, have been watching her as she's been doing this. Apparently, she is calling Erika Kirk, she has been calling Erika Kirk a lesbian pedophile, grooming a 15-year-old.
Candace Owens literally never called her a lesbian. She never did. So lies. And the way that they can lie straight through their teeth is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable.
She is suggesting, of course, she has been suggesting for a while, that TPUSA was complicit, if not in the murder of Charlie Kirk, then in the cover-up of the murder of Charlie Kirk. This is the stuff that Candace Owens has been doing. Because Candace Owens is a true vampire when it comes to conservatism and the conservative movement. She finds prominent people.
And Ben Shapiro, my guy, you are a true vampire when it comes to money and defending the unaliving of innocent children across the ocean. So you're a vampire too. Pot, meat, kettle.
She grifts off of them, and then she does more grifting off of them, and then she grifts them until she's done grifting them. Then she moves on to the next thing she can grift off of. Truly sick, truly evil. You lack for words. There is a biblical injunction.
Here we go. Ben Shapiro is not a Christian. What business do you have quoting our Bible? What business do you have quoting our Bible? You are not a Christian. In fact, you work for a man that told Brett Cooper to not get married because it was not good for her brand.
For those of us who actually care about the Bible, there's a biblical injunction in Exodus 22 that you ought not to oppress any widow or orphan.
Are we oppressing? Is Erika Kirk oppressed? Like, please do not get me started. She has billions of dollars. She is not oppressed. Girl is not oppressed. She's not. We need to stop invoking the word of God where it doesn't belong. She's not oppressed. You can talk about being kind to someone. You can talk about being respectful to someone, but she is not oppressed. She has billions of dollars. Billions. The woman is not oppressed. Someone asked yesterday, well, when is it okay to suspect the wife in a homicide? And people are like, when there's verifiable evidence. I mean, the woman's not oppressed. You guys keep using that. The other thing that I always say, because these people do not care about orphans. They do not. They pretend to care about orphans. They do not. particularly this brand of Republican, does not care about orphans. They do not care about the children of the people who are unalived across the ocean, across the sea over there. They don't care. They do not care about the children here who do not have parents after they've been unalived by whoever. They don't care. They pretend to care. Ben Shapiro specifically does not care about Black orphans. Like a straight up liar. And what he does this thing because Ben is a class A grifter, because he knows that a lot of Christians, as long as you spout Christian talking points, people will bring you into the fold and call you a Christian. He knows that. And he knows particularly with Christian Republicans, and I'm not going to say Christian conservatives, Christian Republicans, he knows specifically with Christian Republicans that they are more Republican than they are Christian. So he knows that all he has to do is say quote a little Philippians, quote a little Exodus, and people just eat it up. The Christians eat it up and they go, okay, we don't mind that he basically believes that Jesus is not the Messiah. We don't mind that he said that Jesus Christ was just a prophet who started an uproar in the Roman Empire. We don't care about that. We don't care that he blasphemes our Savior. We just care that he joins us in this Republican fight. That is problematic. How are the kids orphans if they still have a mom? They're not orphans. They're not orphans. This is willful manipulation of scripture. You want to talk about demonic? That's demonic.
Now, the reason that I focus in on this is because aside from the fact that Candace drives huge numbers through slandering people, truly slandering them. And yes, Erika Kirk absolutely should sue the living hell out of Candace Owens for this sort of stuff.
Erika Kirk will not sue Candace Owens because there are too many. Let's just say, let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just pretend. This is what I do when I was a teacher. I would say, let's pretend that Erika Kirk and TPUSA are completely innocent of any wrongdoing as it relates to Charlie Kirk's death. There are still so many financial allegations that would upend TPUSA. There's absolutely no way that they are going to sue because there are too many questionable transactions. The very reason why Charlie wanted a Doge audit, I should say. The very reason is because there's too much. So they can keep saying this, they keep throwing this word around, sue her into oblivion. They can't. They have used TPUSA as allegedly a money laundering operation. And now they're between a rock and a hard place. You see, this is why you keep your books clean. And this is why Charlie wanted to do a Doge audit. I firmly believe that Charlie knew that if he ever wanted to leave this organization or he ever wanted to sue anybody, he would have to clean up his organization. There's too many things that are not right as it relates to shell companies, employees, missing employees. We've heard all of this from Wolves in Finance. So they keep throwing this word around like we're going to sue her. You can't. You cannot sue Candace Owens.
The reason I bring this up is because there's been a wide and vast silence by people who should have spoken out about this months and months and months ago. In fact, some of us were calling this out from the stage of TPUSA in December. Here's what I had to say about Candace doing exactly this thing. This is back in December. Okay, it is now nearly the end of February, and the same people who I suggested were silent then are silent now.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erika Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. Erika Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning. And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice. The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly.
When the signs are there for years on end and people say nothing, and people continue to say nothing today, that's cowardice, obviously. Where are Charlie's friends? Where are Charlie's closest friends?
You guys, I've been listening to the Charlie Kirk show, just trying to like pop in and listen to different episodes over the past few days because I wanted to know, because I will tell you on X, they have not said much. Today is the first day that Tyler Boyer said something, and I'll show you guys that today. But Andrew Colvett, Mikey McCoy, et cetera, have not really said much. And I firmly believe that their PR team has told them to focus on the Charlie Kirk show, to focus on the TPUSA brand, and let other people tackle that. I firmly believe that's why they haven't spoken up, but I don't think that Ben Shapiro is talking about Andrew Colvett, Tyler Boyer, and Mikey McCoy. I think he is talking about the underlings at TPUSA, so all of the speakers, but specifically Megyn Kelly. They're looking for her to say something. Because she's been sort of the lone wolf on this, who hasn't really spoken out. Even Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh gave their little soft condemnations of Candace, but Megyn Kelly to this day has still kept silent. So I believe he's really talking about her and maybe a few other, prominent Republican influencers, but he's not talking about Andrew Colvett and Tyler Boyer. They have been told by their PR team, I firmly believe, to keep silent on this. There's even, opportunities like, for example, Dennis Prager was on the show recently, and he tried to actually talk about Candace Owens, and Andrew Colvett completely sidestepped the conversation. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, they're trying, they don't want to be used as content. And their PR team, and rightfully so, this is one of the better things their PR team has done, has said, don't talk about her, don't bring her up, don't mention her, sidestep anything. And it was very obvious that that's what Dennis Prager was trying to do. And Andrew Colvett completely sidestepped any question or talks regarding Candace Owens.
Where are all the people who proclaimed solidarity with Charlie and with Erika today? What are they doing? And for all the people who are watching Candace stitch together a bunch of specious nonsense because they like the gossip of it, because they enjoy the tawdry Maury Povich silliness of it, because they're watching a car crash at the side of the road, please have some more respect for your own brain than that. Please have some more respect for yourself than that, truly.
So that was Ben's speech. Let's see. He only cares about the country. Yes, he does. Yep. Andrew. I believe Andrew is confused too. I believe that Andrew is sitting on something. After listening to Baron Coleman's podcast, I'm still not sure if he was in on it. Like, I don't know what to make of Andrew, to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure what to make of him, but I do get the sense that what Andrew knew is that Candace was still Charlie's friend. And that's why he reached out to her immediately. That's what he knew, that she was still his friend. So there's all this BS about they weren't really friends, they don't really know each other, etc. That's all a lie. And we know that. Because the first thing that Andrew did was Andrew thought I should reach out to Candace as well, because they were close. You see? So yeah, I'm not really sure what to think of Andrew at this moment. Part of me, you guys let me know what you guys think. Part of me feels like he has a little bit of good in him. Like he's not completely corrupt. And I think because he was Charlie's right-hand man, some of that rubbed off on him, like some of that righteousness, so to speak, rubbed off on him. And so he's not, to me, he's like not completely all bad. All right.
Yeah.
So then, Dan Bongino's raggedy behind hops on X and goes on a curse-filled tirade, nonsensical, might I add, to talk about Candace Owens. Now, he doesn't say her name, but you can basically infer that that's who he's talking about. And this was odd to me because I'm like, you have no reason to do this, really. There's no benefit for him to say anything, unless he wants to be a member of the TPUSA speaking, the speakers at AmFest or something, which is what I think all these people are vying for. Sorry for jumping in late, but wow, what a jump scare to the BS. Oh, Jade. I agree. I think he's got mixed up and doesn't know how to get out now. That's what I think. I get that sense. I don't know. There's nothing. I have zero evidence for that. I have zero, reason to believe that. But for some reason, when I hear Andrew speak, I feel like there's guilt in his voice almost. Maybe that's what I'm sensing. Anyway, here's the cursing former FBI director, Dan Bongino.
You go yourself, you demonic scum. This just can't be what this movement is. And if it is, I just don't want any part of it. Erika didn't choose this, man. Imagine sitting there in your house and you find out from Twitter or I don't know.
She wasn't in her house. she was at we think she was on a plane, but she was apparently at the hospital or the treatment clinic with her mother. So she wasn't at her house, but I guess let me not do pedantics.
Text or a phone call or that your husband was just shot in the neck for the entire world to see on social media at a public event. I can't imagine that. I know you can't either. Then you got to go through this. Then you got a bunch of absolute f***ing lunatics sending her emails. You did it. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself.
My question is, how did he know that that's happening? So either he's guessing, conjecture, or Erika Kirk told him specifically, people are sending us emails, and he's going, okay, I'll make a note. I'll make a video about it. Did he also get the call to make a video? Just wondering.
You demonic f***ing scum. For as much as I hate what just happened, I wish ill on no one, and everyone should restrain their emotions from the other side because they are not on our side. Once you go down the road of violence, there's no turning back. And I'm sorry if the language distracts from you, but I can think of no other New York way to say it than fuck you, motherfucker.
He's such a try-hard, you guys. Like, just, like, it's like, I gotta think of my New York way to say that. Like, what? Like, be an adult. Please be an adult. It doesn't have to be a New York way to say it. You can just be an adult with a vocabulary and say what you think. She everywhere but at home with her kids. Period. Isn't she in Belfast, Hungary or something? Where is she? Germany right now? Speaking to the youth? No, actually now she's at the White House with the President of the United States for the State of the Union address, by the way. That's where she is. She's in DC. And it's all okay after she told you guys to sit your butt at home and take care of your kids. But better not question a widow.
You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell on every inch of your body. If there's an afterlife, and I believe there is. I believe in the second creation. I don't pretend to be the judge and jury, but
that's his little rant. I was like, it was so staged. It was such propaganda. Yes, he got the call as well. So then, mind you, I want to share with you guys my surprise when I woke up to Rob Smith saying this.
All right, I'm so tired of being told that I have to denounce somebody or that I have to say something or that I have to speak out about something. And conservatives really need to stop doing that because a lot of y'all are moving like leftists.
Rob Smith just said the quiet part out loud. He got the call as well. Why haven't you denounced Candace Owens? Listen to what he says, because this is how I wish honestly, how all Black people move to the United States. You were not there for me when I needed to be backed up, and now you want me to back up Ben Shapiro, the Daily Wire, TPUSA? No. And Rob Smith has been on the TPUSA stage.
Okay, and it's very obvious to see who's being paid to say you have to denounce this person or you have to, do this or you have to use your platform to, to support this or to support that. Like, it's really tired, it's really lame, and conservatives really need to stop doing that. And it's really outing the people who are just getting paid by God knows who to say God knows what, because that is how limited their platforms are. Like, it's very obvious that what's going on there, right? And so just stop trying to control people's platforms. Like, stop trying to control their speech. Stop trying to make people align with whatever thing you align with. Stop trying to make them care about the thing that you care about. Because I'm going to tell you what, my platform, this social media, these handles that say @RobSmithOnline, I'm going to talk about what @RobSmithOnline wants to talk about. I'm not going to talk about what you want me to talk about. I'm not going to denounce who you want me to denounce. I'm not going to speak up for or stand up for or do whatever, because that's something that's important to you. And I learned that lesson when I was left high and dry, when I needed a little Sprite and get it. So don't look to me to be falling on the sword for your thing.
There you have it. Rob Smith said, not I. You're not going to do this to me. And watch him be absolutely torn to shreds for it by the right. This will break the right. This is actually going to cause not in the conservative movement, but the Republican movement. We're about to see who is a Republican and who is conservative, who actually believes in those values such as free speech and who does not. Mark my words, we are going to see, this will be the moment. And this is why they are actually terrified, because I don't actually think they care that this is, quote unquote, hurting Erika Kirk. At the end of the day, Erika Kirk's going to be fine. She got money for days. But I do think that they are worried about not being able to control the Republican Party anymore. We are split, and the Democrats have been, they hate Trump altogether. And so, yeah, the pendulum is about to swing back to the left. That's what they're really concerned about. Maybe this is the incident we needed to break this absolutely diabolical institution. I believe it is, but I don't think people don't. If you look at the Republican Party, and this is what has made me sick, all these people are condemning Candace. I have not seen any of these people talk about how awful, horrid, evil, and demonic the Epstein files are. If anything, I've seen them saying, like, they're not meant for you to read. This is spiritual warfare. What? We're defending the Epstein files on the right. People are defending them. So again, like, if you are truly a biblical conservative, you can't get what this Republican Party is doing right now. Very few of them. So yeah, I think they're going to, and this just ahead of midterms. I mean, Candace is doing her big one. So then comes, listen, the Christian women. Allie Beth Stuckey was like, pray for Erika's family last night. Then Elisa Childers, who was in a famous Christian girl band, has hundreds of thousands of followers on X, wrote, if you are a Christian woman caught up in this, you need to do some serious soul searching right now and ask yourself, what purpose does this serve? How does this glorify God? This isn't about worshiping Erika Kirk or claiming she is perfect. None of us are. It's about defending a widow. That's what she says. A widow. This is also spiritual manipulation. Christian, you shouldn't be doing that. Christian, you shouldn't be doing this. Christian, you shouldn't be doing that. That's what they said about the Epstein files. You shouldn't be looking into the Epstein files. Okay. When is it appropriate? Again, when is it appropriate to ask questions? People are allowed to question, because here's the thing. What's ironic, you guys, about Alyssa Childers is that she is like anti-Catholic, anti-charismatic, NAR. Like, she's all against all the preachers that Erika and Charlie have had on their platform. Like, her whole entire brand is anti-charismatic, anti-progressive Christianity. She certainly doesn't believe that Catholicism is true Christianity. So all of a sudden, because she's a widow, we're like, we don't have to question any of this stuff. I have questions. The reason why I have questions is because you got up on television for years and years and years, on radio and podcasts for years and years and years, and pretended to be an evangelical Christian. Come to find out, you're using priests to reach your Father in heaven. I have questions. I'm allowed to ask questions specifically about that. And that's actually where that is what, you guys, that is what actually piqued my interest. It wasn't even, yes, the fireworks, the fake tears. That is what bothered me. That part, the part where she is still calling priests and going to mass and then getting on the podcast and pretending to be, quote unquote, one of us. That is what got me. And what's actually disgusting to me is how people are afraid to call that out because she's Charlie Kirk's wife. Any other person, they would question. They would question their Christianity. They would say, well, you're a Catholic, you're not a Christian. That's what they would say. And the fact that they're trying to shut us up about that is crazy. And that's why they're so mad that Candace Owens was pointing out that Charlie was converting. I'll say it again. I said it till the cows come home. I don't know how you go to mass multiple times a week, talk to a priest regularly, and then don't call yourself a Catholic. That was the thing. That was the very thing that caused the hair on the back of my neck to stand up. I said, there's something is not right. You had a Catholic funeral for this man who went around talking about being an evangelical Christian. Yeah, that's my problem. That is my problem. It's not even that, like, yeah, you walk around in pantsuits and glitter and somebody dressed you up for that. And someone told you, oh, it'd be a good idea to throw out hats. Someone told you, yeah, they did. Someone told you, oh, we're going to honor. You know what this looks like? It looks like overkill. It looks like overkill. When we're flying you out, we're honoring him with this, we're honoring him with that. It's overkill because we know we did something wrong. That's what that looks like to me. That is what that looks like to me. I don't really care that she was wearing a glitter pantsuit. I care that she got in front of people and told women, I am an evangelical, conservative Christian wife. We go to church service. Come to find out, you're going to mass every week and talking to a priest. You lied. And I don't like liars. That's my problem with Erika Kirk. Yes, this is spiritual warfare. So some lovely soul put together this little montage of all the things that people are saying about Candace. And the caption was like, you can see the talking points, right? This might be kind of small for you guys, but in every single one of these, right? Jordan Wells, these are all, most of these people have blue checks. Evil, 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 psychotic, evil, evil. You guys know that this is what they do. So they're about to call Candace evil, right? They're going to do this. They're going to keep associating the word evil with Candace. And then anytime they want to use the word evil, you will associate that word with Candace and the other group. So for example, Islam, they started calling Islam evil. They're doing that on purpose to compare Candace to Islam. That's what they're doing. You have to, like, this is literally the mind game that they're playing with us. So that you can say, oh, I don't want to be associated with evil. I don't want to be associated with Islam. So I don't want to be associated with Candace either, because they're both evil. This is the reverse of what they did with Donald Trump. Just absolutely disgusting. All right, so that was the X backlash. I mean, there's way more. You guys, Graham Allen just announced that he wants to do he's going to do an investigative report on Candace Owens. They're digging up all of the Blexit paperwork, and they're trying to basically reverse engineer Candace Owens' search on Erika Kirk. And it's backfiring. People don't care. People are like, I don't care. She could be because at the end of the day, like I said, your local crackhead still has the truth. Doesn't matter if they're on drugs. Sometimes they still have the truth. So people don't care. People just want the truth. So even though they're trying so hard to make sure that we think of her as this, evil person who cannot be trusted, people just don't care. Catholic Church is not to be trusted at all. I'm going to go live or do a short on YouTube to do a prayer for me that everything goes right. I will be praying for you. I will be praying for you for that. All right, let's get into Baron Coleman's episode the other day. Oh my gosh. So, interestingly enough, Baron Coleman also spoke about Erika Kirk's work habits. So we call them her work habits. I thought it was interesting that Erika went back to work so quickly, right? I found it to be strange. Okay. And then Baron Coleman said this, and I thought, wow, this was even more of a reason for me to mistrust her. You guys, make sure you guys can let me know if you can hear that all right.
The website, and we can look at precisely the last modification of this website, and I'll show you why this is important in just a minute. But here we can see this right here, last mod. This was last modified on 2026-02-03. So this announcement was put up on February 3rd, 2026. I promise you in just a moment, this is all going to make sense to you. So what we have is on February 3rd, 2026, Erika Kirk had committed to doing a live Q&A. That live Q&A was to take place on February 20th, 17 days notice. Apparently she's gotten sick. I don't doubt that she's sick. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to show you we're able to capture these events, because why this becomes important is this is not her first Q&A that she was supposed to have done. Here is another one that she was scheduled to do. This one was on September 26th of this year. You might notice that date because it's 16 days after her husband lost his life.
So, Miss Grieving Widow scheduled a live Q&A on the 26th of September. Charlie died on the 10th. 11 days. She said, yeah, I'll be working. I'll be working. Don't worry about me. 11 days? Sure.
When I first saw that, I thought, well, perhaps, surely, this is something that was scheduled before her husband lost his life. Maybe we should look at the metadata then. When was this scheduled? What was going on in Erika's life when this was scheduled? This is a September 26th Q&A live with Erika Kirk and pastoral advisor James Caddis. So let's go and look at when this event was scheduled. It's a little weird, I'll be honest with you. I would think she had something else going on when this was scheduled, but maybe not. This event was scheduled on September 19th of 2025.
You guys, September 19th. Charlie died on the 10th. So 10 days. She goes, oh, yeah, I'll be working. Yeah, keep it up. Now, the reason why I wanted to share this with you guys is because for a minute, I was like, I can see why she wants to work for Charlie. I honestly, you guys, I was like, I could see it. I could see why she would want to do this. But when I found out that she was doing her own personal business too, all of that broke down for me. I was like, oh, no, this is just about the money. Like, this is just about you continuing to live your life as you did before. Because it almost makes sense to sort of like finish out your husband's duties. It makes sense, right? What doesn't make sense is 10 days after your husband's murder to say, yeah, let's keep the Q&A for next week. Let's push it to next week. We'll be okay. That is insanity. That is not normal behavior. It would have been better for her to say, I'm going to finish out Charlie's obligations, but I'm going to stop my proclaim events, or I'm just going to have the pastor do it. But no, she was there. So she was working both of her businesses.
September 19th of 2025. Do you guys remember what was going on September 19th of 2025? That is the last modification to this. This September 26th date was last modified on September 19th of 2025, meaning on September 19th of 2025, somebody poked their head in and said, hey, Erika, are you cool doing a Q&A for your Bible 365 podcast next week? This was 2 days before Charlie's memorial.
And she said, yeah, girl. She said, yeah, girl, I'll do it. Yeah. I can do anything. Okay, Jade, we'll see you later. Thanks for listening. She said, yeah, girl, I could do it. Oh, 2 days before the memorial? Sure, why not? Now, in true grifter fashion, she could have used that moment to sell tickets, sell products, sell TPUSA, right? But it's a Q&A. So I don't know what people were talking about, right? Like, it could have been, how are you feeling? And she, you twisted into, well, I'm grieving, but we've got this huge event. My TPUSA family is here for me, and I'm just really excited to help support whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But is this not a little bit out of character? Like, I don't believe in coincidences. So this is a little bit out of character to do this, to schedule a Q&A 2 days before the memorial.
This was 9 days after Charlie was tragically taken from this earth. This was supposedly when everybody in the building was working 100, 120-hour weeks. This supposedly was a day or two after the funeral where they may or may not have actually buried a body. It's just a weird timing to me that you would jump in and schedule a live Q&A in this moment. Like, there's so much else going on. It just seems very tone deaf for me to somebody to poke their head in her office and say, I know we're planning your husband's memorial. I know we just did his funeral. I know he just died. Are you up for a Q&A? You want to do a live Q&A next week? It's just tone deaf. And I think about this. Actually, Daisy found this. We discovered this and talked about it before Candace had put up her preview for what she's doing this week. At the time, there was no preview up. The 2-minute preview I showed you earlier was not up. And it's a gentle reminder that this is not normal, in my opinion. I don't know any widow at age 36 who's the mother of 2 kids under the age of 4 or 4 and under. I'm not sure exactly how old those kids are. Who is 2 days out from planning a memorial that's going to have, I think they ended up with almost 300,000 people there in the area that they captured.
Dr. Gundry.
And that's basically the end of that. So let me just get, I have to play this out so we can watch.
Can age spots be removed? Absolutely. A common mistake is thinking that.
So yes, imagine my shock and horror when I found that out, because again, I was able to rationalize actually that you would want to finish out your obligations with TPUSA. But you're having people working hundreds of hours, and then you're saying, yes, I will voluntarily go onto my podcast and have a Q&A a couple of days after the burial, a couple of days before the memorial. It's business as usual, when this was very not a business as usual situation. Right? Erika's so messed up. That's horrible, to be honest. Yes, my read is that she's a body snatcher. I don't know. I don't know what to think, you guys. I don't know what to think. And I think that's the scary part, is that, like, you want to believe in people being genuine, but it's so hard to trust her. It's so hard to trust her. But I think we will find out this week. Okay, so next thing that Barron drops on his podcast is that Andrew Colvette was the one who scheduled the Ben Shapiro interview the day before Charlie died. That was the interview where Charlie was basically like, yeah, I'm not really feeling what you guys are doing over there. Like, why can't we question this country? We can question anything else. We can question Mexico. We can question Argentina. We can question Russia, but we can't question that, our greatest ally. And Ben Shapiro's eyes furled up and he got angry. And Charlie was not happy. Charlie was not happy that Andrew Colvette scheduled this interview. In fact, he said, if you want me to do this interview, you have to do the show tomorrow, which was the day of Charlie's assassination. And I have a feeling that wasn't said in jest. I have a feeling he was like, I can't believe you did this. You do the show tomorrow. I'd rather do anything but be with Ben Shapiro. Let's take a look. And shout out to Barron for finding this.
It gets really interesting to me. We're skipping forward about 6 minutes. So if you're following along at home and you're watching that interview, or you want to go back and watch the rest of it, there's other good stuff in there, but I think I've got most of the good stuff in my clip. So we'll fast forward about 6 minutes. Now they're going to talk about what was the day of the Big Bang like for you? What did you do in the day leading up? What did you do on the day of? Tell me how it affected you. It's a very interesting discussion.
No. If you don't mind, can you just say something about what the day itself was like for you?
Yeah. Well,
it can be brief.
Yeah, I know. It's so the day before, actually, I had booked an interview for him that he was not super pleased that I booked for him, but there was good reason for doing it. But he was like, you know what, I'm tired now, and I want to focus on the tour tomorrow. So you're gonna guest host the show tomorrow.
Okay, this is interesting to me. This I book noted this in my mind, and this took some research to put together and figure out what the hell he was just talking about. Our handler here, Andrew, the guy who pursued Charlie, the guy who worked for the guy who discovered Charlie in South Florida at some event. And the guys got together and said, we need to control this guy. We got to get in front of this guy. Andrew says the day before he passes away, he booked an interview, and Charlie wasn't happy about it. Well, Daisy goes off and does Daisy things. She looks up every interview Charlie Kirk had the day before and identified with near certainty what exactly was the interview that Charlie Kirk wasn't happy about. And when you see it, you're going to go, oh, yeah, exactly. I guarantee you he wasn't happy about it. I'll play a clip of that interview now, if you guys don't mind. It's pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating. You guys remember this interview? The eyebrow interview? You guys remember when those caterpillars went flying up his forehead? I do. I'll play that part right here.
I think it's very important for our audience to hear this, though, because there is an incessant campaign. And one thing a friend sent to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we push back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. It's like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe.
Look at those babies.
This, I firmly believe, this sealed his fate. And can I tell you guys my very, very bad, I don't want to call it bad, but my conspiracy theory behind this? I allegedly, I think that allegedly, this was one last ditch effort to see if Charlie would continue down this path. So if you think about it, just bear with me, you guys. He's talking to a priest. He's talking to a rabbi. They're having that very heated debate in the text thread. And they gave him one last threat. One last threat. And then they said, Andrew, schedule Ben Shapiro. And Andrew said, Charlie's not going to like this. And they said, you will do what we say. And so Andrew got on there. Not Andrew. Charlie got on there. And this is why his eyebrows are so raised. Because they thought, for 2 minutes, they thought, now surely he will back down. Surely he will not say a word. And there he did. This was the moment where Ben Shapiro said, he's done. The powers that be said, he is done. How dare you question our greatest ally? How dare you do that? But that is what I firmly believe happened. I believe that this was his final test. And if he was able to congenially speak with Ben Shapiro around our greatest ally, he would have been fine. But they said, no, let's see. Let's see if he's serious. And this was really interesting, the mannerisms here. Like, Charlie doesn't look happy. Let me just play this back a little bit. He doesn't look happy.
Presenting the truth when it comes to Israel. Just a question.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Brett.
And I'm Jonathan.
This is Darla.
Andrew says the day before he passes away,
let's listen to it again.
He
or watch Charlie.
An interview, and Charlie wasn't happy about it. Well, Daisy goes off and does Daisy things. She looks up every interview Charlie Kirk had the day before and identified with near certainty what exactly was the interview that Charlie Kirk wasn't happy about. And when you see it, you're going to go, oh, yeah, exactly. I guarantee you he wasn't happy about it. I'll play a clip of that interview now, if you guys don't mind. It's pretty fascinating. It's pretty fascinating. You guys remember this interview? The eyebrow interview? You guys remember when those caterpillars went flying up his forehead? I do. I'll play that part right here.
I think it's very important for our audience to hear this, though, because there is an incessant campaign. And one thing a friend sent to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border. It's like, maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe.
Look at those babies. Those are amazing. Those are great eyebrows. And they're high. They're very high on the forehead. They just went right up. Why would Charlie not have wanted to do this interview? If you've not seen the interview, it's fantastic. I could play another minute or so and give you a nice feel for it. But why would Charlie not have wanted to do this interview? Could it be because he was texting Andrew Colvett and Dan Flood pretty much on this day, September 9th, saying, they're trying to kill me. These people are going to kill me. I think there are people who want to kill me. And Andrew, you know who they are. It's the eyebrow people. It's the people who do this. Andrew was aware of the text thread where he said, I've left no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Andrew was aware of it. Yet he books this interview.
Yeah, because I think he was forced. I think that was part of it. I think it was, you will book this interview. We need to see where he stands. I believe they would have called off the hit if Charlie would have, sat by and did the quote unquote right thing. If he would have said, had just a congenial, amicable interview with Ben Shapiro. But I think that sealed his fate right there.
He booked this interview. It's insane to me. It's absolutely insane to me when you put it all together in the timeline. Again, you got to get back to the basics. You have to strip away everything you think you know about the Charlie Kirk investigation. You have to pull it all away. And you got to go back and look at the peepers. You got to look at his peepers and the peeper covers. Look at those curtains.
Everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So, Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse. Some people in the Israeli government are saying, again, it's all over the place, right? You have opinions all over. In your opinion, what would a good outcome 5 years from now be? And how does one respond to the claims of ethnic cleansing?
Look at Ben's face. Look at his face. Andrew booked this interview knowing everything else that was going on in Charlie's life.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing he did this because he wanted to. I do. I have a hard time believing that that Andrew did this because he wanted to. I actually believe that Andrew did it because he had to. I think he got caught up in a mess and now he is under the gun. And I think that's why, like, out of guilt, I think that's why he called Candace afterwards. I firmly believe that is why he called her afterwards. That is why he said it was supposed to be you, because I firmly believe that it was supposed to be her. Candace got caught up in Brigitte Macron's micropene. That's what happened and went off, the trail. I firmly believe that Candace thinks it was like a psychological. I don't. I think it was supposed to be Candace. I think they knew, because if you look at the text messages where he was like, don't invite Candace. No, that's a bad idea. I think Andrew knew that the end game for speaking out against our greatest ally was death. And they were going to get Charlie to get on the right side of history. They didn't care if Candace was on the wrong side of history, but she got lost in Brigitte Macron's peen and then, went off on a rabbit trail with that instead of attacking our greatest ally. And then we got this. Okay, I've been on here for way too long. I am going to create another video because they released the coordinated attack against Candace Owens, the entire file of how to go after Candace. It was like the PR plan, and I have to make a video about it, but I've got to go do my stretch and folds for my sourdough, and I got to get ready for work. So anyway, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Please do not forget to like this video on your way out. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I hate being a dry beggar, but please subscribe if you liked it. Go back and watch it from the beginning. We had a lot of fun, and I will see you later. Mary, I'll be praying for you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.